All right, we are up to fly number 12 from Mike Valla's Tying the Founding Flies. This one is the Llama. Now this is a baitfish streamer. I would consider it pretty much a generic attractor streamer. It was created by Miles Tourellot, a Menominee Indian in Wisconsin, sometime in the 1940s. But it was really popularized by Eric Leiser with a couple of articles in Fly Fisherman magazine from the 1970s. Now one tip on this thing, if you've never tied with groundhog or woodchuck, leave the underfur in. Per Leiser, that's one of the things that makes this a really effective fly over, say, just a coarse-haired bucktail. If you've got that underfur, you're going to have a little bit more bulk and some movement. Now it's a great trout or smallmouth bass pattern that you pretty much fish like any streamer. Now one more note, it's typically tied with a red floss body, but a lot of folks will tie it with a black or white or even a yellow body. So there it is in the vise, the Llama, which is just a baitfish streamer pattern. And I kind of think of it more as a general attractor than any specific baitfish. Now the hook the recipe calls for is the Mustad 3665. It is a 7X long, 3 extra heavy hook. This is actually what I'm using, but any streamer hook that you think is going to work, that you like your baitfish patterns on, should be just fine. That's a size 8. Black thread, 74 denier. I'm going to catch it in somewhere in the middle, bring it back here toward the start of the bend. And I'm going to do a small little tail from Grizzly hen. And Valla said 1 to 1.5 times the hook gap. And if you get any of these little fluff feathers there, I'm going to use them. Picture in his book did not, he used just straight feathers, but I kind of like that little bit of fluff right there. I think it's going to give it a little bit more, life and movement. I'm going to go ahead and snip these instead of burying them with a lot of extra thread wraps. Now we'll catch in the rib. Mylar tinsel, gold or silver, pretty much your preference. I think the silver looks better with the red body, which I'm doing. So I'm going to catch it in with the silver side down. See, I cut a little angle right there. And I'm going to try that. I don't always do it this way, but it might minimize a bump back here. So after we got that caught in, bring your thread up to about the middle of the fly. Now I cut off a piece of red floss about 14 inches because I want to tie it in double strength. So I'm going to catch it in right here. Just a couple wraps to get it caught in. Now I'm going to take my thread up a few eye lengths back because we do have some stuff going on up front. Now I'm going to wrap this up forward and then I'm going to take it all the way back to the tail and then back forward again. So make sure you get enough floss to do that, and I've found, 14 or 16 inches will typically work on this size 8. So after I got it up there, I'm going to just secure this with 2 wraps right here and then continue to wrap this on back. Now I'll speed this up, but my intent here, and while we wrap that part going forward first, is hopefully we can get a little bit thicker of a body up forward. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. Okay, now we're up front, and I don't think I really pulled that off. That body up front is not noticeably thicker than the back, but that's fine. This is a fishing fly, doesn't need to be perfect. All right, we'll snip this, and now we're going to wrap this rib, and this is a size 12 Mylar. It might be just a little bit thicker than I want on this fly, but the only other size I had under this was a 16-18, and I did one with that, and it was definitely too small. Just did not give it enough silver on it. So I think we're going to go with this one, and we'll make it work. Okay, when you get it up front, go ahead and catch it off, and I like to catch it off pretty much on top so that I can fold it back and do a couple more wraps right there just to really secure that rib. And now for the wing. And what makes the llama is this groundhog or woodchuck, and you want to get a piece with the back fur. So you got those 3 distinct colors. You've got dark and then some lighter tan and then the tips. So it's not a huge tuft, but I've got those 3 distinct colors right there, and we wanting the wing to be about to the back of that tail. But my thread, I need it farther back. So spin it clockwise. Let's take it back because we do have a collar hackle and we want to put a big head on it. So take your thread back a fair amount, and now we'll catch this in right here. And you might be tempted to pull out some of the underfur. Don't do that. That is a prominent feature of this fly. So let's catch this in right here. Couple wraps, we'll take a look at it. Okay, is that the length we want? Yep, I think that's good, and I got a good amount of the underfur there, which is exactly what I want. So I'm gonna spin the thread clockwise again so I can get some tighter wraps. Couple more tight wraps going forward. And as soon as I have enough wraps to make sure that wing is not going anywhere, I will trim this and sculpt it a little bit, maybe try to get a little taper so that I can create a flatter spot for the hackle. And this might take a few snips here. All right, well that took a little while, but we're gonna be fine. We'll go forward with some loose wraps and then, regular medium tight wraps going back. And it looks like it's going to be a big head, and really it is, because I'm going to put several wraps of some grizzly hen for the collar hackle. Just a webby grizzly hen. And this one, let's fold it around and see what we want. I want it pretty long, maybe about right there is going to work. So I'll strip off a few fibers right here, give me a tie-in point. All right, now let's just catch this in toward the back of this flat spot right here. Enough wraps to hold that feather in, and got a little stem right here to contend with. I want to take these hackle pliers here and just grab the tip, and I'm going to put probably 4 wraps. We'll see what it looks like after 3. So preen them back as you go. Just don't put a whole lot of tension on it. This feather's not real strong. See that? I already broke it, but that broke on the tip. So we'll just start that over. Okay, that's 3 wraps. Let's go. And the tip broke again. I told you these feathers are pretty brittle. Not brittle, just soft. All right, now we got 3. Let's go ahead and catch this off. Now I'm going to sweep these back just a little bit, but not a whole lot, because I really want them kind of sticking out too. So kind of sticking out a little bit, swept back. That should work right there. And now our big head. So spend a minute or 2 and use the thickest thread you want. And in fact, I could have probably caught this thread off and then tied on a 140 denier, which might have made it easier to build my big head, because I am going to paint eyes on this. Okay, is that going to give me a big enough head? I think it will. We'll see in a second. Let's go ahead and do a quick whip finish. I'm going to do another one. That one slipped a little bit there. Now, if we weren't going to paint eyes on it, I think that head would be a little bit too big. But let's go ahead and put our UV resin on it and make it even bigger. Okay, that head is definitely big enough for some eyes. So let me show you what I do. I'll take a Q-tip, cut it off, and then also a toothpick, and just cut it off. And then your good old white Testors model paint, kind of the stuff we all grew up with. And then you just dab it in there, and I would practice a little bit on a piece of scrap. That top one was the Q-tip, and then the bottom one was the toothpick. So I think the toothpick is probably the right size. Now I'm not going to do that on this one because you really want it to dry for a couple hours before you try to paint eyes on them. So if you're going to tie half a dozen of these, just tie them all up, let them dry for a little while, and then go back and paint the eyes. And if you mess up the white drop, just wipe it off and try again. And then when the white dries, go in with a little Sharpie and just put the pupil. So that's it, my friends, the Llama. Pretty cool pattern, definitely a fun one to tie. So I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.